you
Whoops.
kidding me? Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Emergency Podcast. I'm Chase Brisbane, once again flying solo tonight, and this is once again going to be another rant-filled edition of the show. If you thought I was angry after the game on Tuesday, oh boy, you haven't seen anything yet. Oklahoma State losing 78-57 to 19th ranked Texas Tech tonight in Lubbock. And this game was pretty much over within the first almost 4 minutes. If there was a game where you thought this game was over within the first 4 minutes, this was one of them. This is one of the few times watching this team where within the first 4 minutes, I said this game was over, which doesn't make any sense given the talent on the team. Yet for whatever reason, this team cannot score points. They cannot make three-pointers, and they're barely scoring 50 to 60 points in these games. Like, 2 games in a row now I have to get before this channel and just go off because of this team's inability to score and make shots. Why can't they do those things with the talent they have? Here's a look at the final box score. And as we take a look at it, Bryce Thompson, one of the only positives in this game for Oklahoma State. I have been waiting for him to have a decent game. He had one tonight with 14 points. Good on him, 5 of 11 from the field. Very efficient, although 3 out of 6 from the line, which is really disappointing. The team starting to get a little better at the line. They went 15 of 22, although they missed a ton of them in garbage time, which brought that down. But nonetheless, they're starting to get a little better at the free throw line, but not good enough to the point where they're winning games. And that was pretty much the only bright spot scoring-wise for Oklahoma State, because everybody else was, well, actually, that's not entirely true. Musa Cisse had a great game, 3 of 3 from the field, 8 points, only 3 rebounds, which is kind of underwhelming for a guy like him. He's got to get more rebounds as a 7-foot big man, but so he played well. So really it was Bryce Thompson and Musa Cisse that played great for Oklahoma State. And I guess Matthew Alexander-Moncrief too. He had 9 points on 3 of 5 shooting and went 3 out of 4 from the line with 6 rebounds. Everybody else. Where do I start? Where do I start with the rest of the guys that played tonight? First of all, Avery Anderson. We are now 15 games into the season, and he's probably the biggest disappointment on this team. This was a guy who last year averaged like 19 points per game the last 4 or 5 games of the season, including the 31 he had in Morgantown, and everyone was expecting him to be the guy going forward. Well, Monday night in Morgantown, he has a disappointing performance in his first trip back there, and then tonight, he goes 0 of 6 from the field with 2 points, and those 2 points came at the free throw line, obviously, because he didn't make a field goal. In the last 2 games, he is averaging 5.5 points per game. And in Big 12 play in 4 games, he's averaging about 8 points per game. Like, this is the biggest disappointment on the team so far. And, like, I don't know what's got to happen for him to get back on track. I mean, this shouldn't be hard. This is a guy who, again, averaged 19 points per game to end the year last year. Why is he struggling to score? This is a guy who, in back-to-back games, dropped 26 points and 29 points. And in the game before those two, he dropped 17. Caleb Boone with 1 point. This is a guy who has been a big focal point of this team the last couple of seasons, played very well to end last season, and during the middle of it, he had 1 point? Are you kidding me? what the?
Undo.
This team with all this talent, all this scoring capability, did not score a point for the first 4 minutes in this game, somehow got back in it. Like, that's the other thing. I don't know how this game got competitive near the end of the first half before the Red Raiders pulled away again. But, they did that, and then they went back to sleepwalking through the rest of the half. And I'm sorry, like, something's got to change here, or it's going to be a long conference season. I mean, who thought we'd be sitting here 4 games into the Big 12 season saying that we basically have to hit a panic button? This is crisis mode we're in right now. We're talking about a team that tonight made 18 field goals out of 56? You've got to be kidding me. There's got to be some kind of, these guys have got to, get on the same page with each other, because this is a team, the first 4 conference games, with all of this talent, they have scored 63, 64, 60, and 57. And I said going in, if this team doesn't break 70, this is going to get ugly. And that's exactly what happened here. They've got to get this thing turned around, or this is going to go down as not just a disappointing season, it's going to go down as an awful season. And who would have thought that going into this season? Who wants to see this team play Baylor right now? That's what's going to happen Saturday. Is anyone honestly looking forward to that? That game might be over as early as this one was. For all the ranting I've done about OSU tonight, and they've deserved it. I mean, this was an absolutely embarrassing performance, and they deserve to be criticized for it. I do want to give credit to Texas Tech. I mean, who would have thought this team would still be winning games this season, considering that they lost Chris Beard and Mark Adams took over? He's done an amazing job in these 3 straight games after they lost to Iowa State. They beat Kansas at home. They go into Waco and beat the best team in the country in Baylor. And now they blow out Oklahoma State, a team that has tons of talent, yet they have really struggled in Big 12 play. Again, this is an Oklahoma State podcast, but I'll give credit where it's due to Texas Tech. This is an amazing job on their part, and good on them for picking up a major win for them tonight, and a big win for Mark Adams early in his tenure as Texas Tech's head coach. That's 3 big wins in a row for him. So we'll see what they can do going forward. So next up for the Pokes, at Waco, Saturday against, for the moment, number 1 Baylor, because there will be a new number 1 in the poll on Monday because they lost to Tech on Tuesday. But nonetheless, OSU has to go to Waco and take on the defending national champion Baylor Bears. Folks, that game might be over earlier than this one was. Thank you for watching the Emergency Podcast. I'm Chase Wisman. I'll see you Saturday.